Steph, thank you so much. And happening now, you just mentioned that closure. That's where we're going to begin here. It was a violent morning, evening across our city, and we're going to start with Etobicoke, where one man dead after a shooting. So here's what we know. Toronto police called to the Westtown Plaza, which is near Dixon and Islington, just after midnight. Reports of shots fired. When officers arrived, they located a man lying on the ground unconscious. They began CPR. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, no word on suspects. We're going to bring you back to a live look at the scene right now where the investigation continues. You can see portions of this parking lot remain taped off. Homicide investigators are on this case, and right now they are looking for witnesses, anyone who might have any information. As Steph mentioned, all lanes between Dixon and St. Philip's Road are closed off for this investigation. Now, police also looking at another shooting just north of Dixon near Islington and St. Andrews Boulevard. Officers called just after 3 o'clock this morning, and a few at the earlier shooting scene that we showed you heard those shots fired. A man rushed to a trauma center with serious gunshot wounds. Police cannot confirm if these two shootings are related. And we're also following a shooting in the city's East End. Officers called to the Gerrard Street East and Highland Road area in Leslieville just after 10:30. Two men found with serious but non-life-threatening injuries rushed to hospital. There's no suspect information at this time, but investigators say a man was seen running through backyards in the area. If you have any information in any of these cases, please do contact police. You can also do that, as always, anonymously through Crime Stoppers. A pedestrian has been killed following what Toronto investigators say was a deliberate hit and run that happened last night in the Portlands.
We had received information that there was a dispute in this area and that a person deliberately ran over another person with their vehicle. That vehicle then fled the scene. Officers got here and understood that one person was injured. They were without vital signs at the time. They have since been pronounced deceased by the doctor.
It was just after 9 o'clock that police were called to the Polson and Cherry Streets area. Officers also found a second victim who was hit by a vehicle. They suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Officers are now looking for a truck that they describe as having a matte military green wrap. And again, anyone with information, they want to hear from you. All right, we turn to education now. Only under a catastrophe scenario should schools in Ontario be closed this coming September, and that's according to an Ontario Science Advisory Table report.
School is essential work for kids and should be considered as such. It's an essential service, and we need to approach return to school in September as we approach any other essential service.
The report was put together by a panel of doctors, scientists, epidemiologists, and staff at SickKids. The report saying there is overwhelming evidence that shutting down schools and discontinuing extracurricular activities has a substantial impact on children's physical and mental health. And a statement from the Minister of Education, Stephen Lecce's spokesperson, reading in part, as part of our plan and as recommended by Ontario's Science Table, all students aged 12 and over and education workers are prioritized for double vaccination prior to September, and significant investments have been made to improve air ventilation in 100% of schools. We are following the advice of SickKids and pediatric experts on our plan with $550 million in continued air ventilation improvements underway. Now, coming up here just after 7 o'clock, we're going to be speaking with the president and CEO of SickKids, Dr. Ronald Cohn, about the contributions that he provided to that report and guidance when it comes to school reopening, because there are a lot of questions. Also coming into play, vaccinations for younger children. Still ahead here, Patricia Gauthier is the general manager of Moderna in Canada, and she'll be joining us with the very latest from the drug maker that also includes vaccine trials for children here in our country. Again, that's coming up just after 9. Well, big announcement, major changes coming to our Canadian borders that will soon see American and international travelers back in the country again. Here's City News reporter Shaoli Lee with the latest.
On September 7th, we intend to allow entry for fully vaccinated travelers from any country for non-essential traveler. Travelers will have to be fully vaccinated with a Health Canada authorized vaccine at least 14 days prior to entering the country.
After over a year of being closed to non-essential travel, the federal government says Canada will be ready to start accepting non-essential international travelers soon. While the rest of the world waits till September, Americans who are fully vaccinated can start arriving on August 9th, in just 3 weeks.
Also, as of August 9th, the 3-night government-authorized hotel stay requirement will be eliminated for all air travelers.
Travelers will still need to plan a 14-day quarantine and be ready to be tested during those 2 weeks. Visiting Americans will also need to provide their vaccine record through the ArriveCan app and pass a pre-arrival COVID-19 molecular test. Also in August, 5 more airports will be allowed to start landing international flights: Halifax, Quebec City, Ottawa, Winnipeg, and Edmonton. There's no word yet on when Canada will start accepting people who have received vaccines like Sputnik or Sinovac, which are approved by the WHO, but not Canada. In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.
And coming up here just after 8 o'clock, we're going to speak with the Niagara Falls Mayor, Jim Diodati, about how he feels about these new relaxed border rules and what it's going to mean for the local economy. Big show today, lots of guests. Coming up next, it is 6:11. Safe to say it's a struggle to try and buy a new home, but that is not stopping Canadians from finding interesting ways of getting into the housing market. We're going to delve a little bit deeper with Chris McCusker from 680. She is next up.